Ladies and gentlemen, we are now live here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters here. And there is certainly no sleet, nor snow, or no, let's say, Arctic winter blast that's hit us here in the Northeast that's going to stop us to talk about the Northeast Extravaganza 6, where our guest here, who some have called the star of NEW, but after his performance that we just saw earlier this afternoon, where he became just maybe the star of all of underground wrestling and winning a championship that only a handful of other men have held here in NEW, that Northeast Championship. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about D Savage. We'll show you the match here. We'll talk about also what's to come, because our guest is certainly getting almost literally no days off, because he's in the ring this Tuesday against a guy that I actually met in person. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about an unhinged Rumble coming up in the first show of the year, the first big show in NEW in 2025, which, well, let's just say could certainly leave some calamities. And maybe we'll talk about Leonidas and maybe come back to that guy who's supposed to be a heart stopper who could maybe get another match against our guest if he wants, and especially if he gets the verdict he wants this Tuesday. And we'll talk about whatever else our guest wants. And I'm sure we will celebrate this here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that our guest and NEW has helped build here, Sportzwire Radio, with over 1,350 subscribers. And of course, now our guest is now officially a Hall of Famer. Not only is he a star, he's a star of NEW. He is a star of underground wrestling. He is a star in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And I must now give him that introduction, because even though I might be as sick as a dog and Jake Dvorak might be saying he's let people down, although I still highly doubt that, I would literally be letting everybody down if I didn't show up on Sportswire Radio, because I don't get sick pay. I don't get time and a half. We don't get days off. We are here because you want it. Our guest wants it. And I think even Mr. Dvorak wants this one, and to maybe get his mind off what happened in the main event of Northeast Extravaganza 6. But it is now time to give our guest that introduction, that championship introduction that he has gotten many times, and especially after last week's show where he basically had very little to say, uncharacteristically like himself. It is now time to get this show on the road and continue the weekend here in style on Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station, and heat things up with a star of NEW and all of underground wrestling. So with that, wait for further ado here on the Sports Report. #1 global sports show. A man that some call the star of NEW. Some call him the star of the show. I call him very well possibly the star of all of underground wrestling. Our brand new Northeast champion. His name is, simply put, Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer, the one and only The champ is here. My friend, how are we doing?
I'm doing great. You know what? I'm doing even better now that I'm new champion, actually.
Well, you are. You certainly did win a championship, figuratively and literally, just about I think 7 hours and like 25 minutes ago, literally.
Yes, pretty much.
But obviously, good to be with you. We're going to certainly talk about that. But I guess I'll start off then. For those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you and NEW have most certainly helped build here, Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters, and we now have 1,350 plus subscribers. I'll
Oh,
ask the nice and easy question. Joestar, the star of NEW, and maybe very well the star of all of underground wrestling right now, how does it feel to be the brand new NEW Northeast champion?
you know what?
Mm. That doesn't look like you're going to have some milk with some cookies, or certainly leave them for Santa Claus. I mean, Joe, um, I know you didn't have much to say last week on Sportswire, but you seem like you're just going to drink instead. I mean, thank you, Joe, for certainly drinking. We appreciate that. But do you want to show the audience what exactly you poured in your glass? It doesn't look like eggnog. Wait a minute, Irish stout.
My go-to is Irish stouts now.
Who
I
would have
love
guessed, Joe?
Guinnesses.
Joe, I would have never guessed you and Irish stuff. I would have thought maybe Dos Equis, Corona. I would have thought maybe Heineken, but Irish Stout, boy, you certainly
I
know how to party.
Oh, no, no, no. Those are good beers, but I like my stout
You know
more
what,
better
Joe?
than
I
what it
actually
is.
don't drink beer, even though I'm Irish and I should drink lots of beer, but I'm drinking still a big gulp because I'm still as sick as a dog. My voice hurts, and I'm on like 15 Sudafeds in 2 days. But you know what? There's no days off for me. But Joe, boy, it must be the victory celebration there, the victory glass. Boy, Joe, how sweet it is, Joe. How sweet it is to be a champion, huh?
Yes, it is, and it's good, sweet as how that Irish stout is.
Well, you know what,
But
Joe? I mean, congratulations. I mean, so I guess how does it feel that other than drinking some Irish stout to be the Northeast champion here at NEW?
it feels great to
Yeah,
hold one of them legendary titles as an NEW right now.
absolutely. Only a
Cause
handful of people have held the championship. Only a handful.
that's what I heard with commentary
Yep, we were
that there's
talking
only
about
a
that. We were
hand,
talking about
there's
that off the
less
air. Yeah, I
people.
mean, Savage certainly. I mean, Surge, Surge was the
Surge,
championship. I mean, Justin Abel saying a man you've obviously tag team with and held some gold with before,
of
not too
course.
long ago, and Tyson
Tyson
Spade
Spade
and
being the first
Spencer
ever.
Nightfall. Yeah, I mean, so it's very few people have held this championship, so it's not like a title that you get every week. No, this is a title that's got some prestige to it there.
It does, and you know how Surge carried that title for
Oh,
490 days.
over
Like,
a year, and he was a champion that, like, unlike other people that came on here, some cosplayers that were like, "Yeah, I'm champion
hmm
for 600 days." The Surge, when he defended the title, not only was he defending it, his opponents were lucky to be alive.
pretty much. And
And Savage, look at what Savage went through to take the title from him.
he took a long time. And the funny thing is, I faced Surge, not even for the title, but when he was champion, he was, he kind of took the easy way route. But I'm not pissed about that. I'll salute to Surge because
Yes,
he was one of my supporters. I was
he was.
support to Jake as well. Savage, I have to give them one too because with a good match
Well, we're
that.
going to talk about that match because obviously, Joe, at first it looked like you might not be celebrating tonight with me. You might have got, I don't know if it was quite a lump of coal you would have got, but it appeared originally during that match that Mr. Savage was going to retain the title and you were going to be empty handed right now.
At some points of the match, I was like doubting myself, but at the same time, I said multiple times that my time was coming. It was time to shine bright as a star. And
What made you think that during the match? It was a very physical match. What made you think that there for the audience?
honestly, it's difficult
Yeah,
to pretty much know that the previous holder was Power Surge, a man
yeah,
that was
before Savage.
490
Yeah.
place. And, first time Savage went against him, it was not an easy task. And,
No,
it had them
no.
took him on another try.
Yep.
And proud of him because at the same time that was an accomplishment that no man could pretty much say. You
Yep.
defeated Power Surge for the Northeast champion and ended his
Absolutely.
reign.
Right.
And him being the up next, the guy that's up next, pretty much, and him winning the Born to Battle briefcase. he was going places, and he's a pro.
Yep,
And
he's
his
got
value,
gold in the pros. He's got gold. It's not like he's just a guy that's, hey, I've wrestled a match in the Indies. He's got gold in the
he,
pros. So it's not like a guy that some knucklehead promoter let him on the show and didn't really know what his experience was or didn't look up who he was. No, he's every weekend you look, Savage is wrestling in the independents. I mean, I have
hmm
independent wrestlers in the Pennsylvania scene that know who he is. So it's not like he's just some guy that's wrestling in the indies, like I said, because a promoter said, "Hey, we'll put you on the show, kid, and we'll see what you got." No, he's really wrestling, and he's been there with some big names as well.
yes, pretty much. And him being like the guy that's up next, the guy that's pretty much in the not in the pedestal, but like on top of that mountain of that
Hmm.
division for a little bit. I kind of doubted myself, but at the same time, with the faith of like my family was just like watching, not like in the area, but watching at home. Have of course, if you guys haven't noticed, my dad passed away like 2 years ago. My necklace, I had him on during the entrance way, and that kind of gave me a little more strength, thinking about like what I could accomplish, and at the end, I came victorious. And
Well, let me ask you this question, Joe. You said something interesting, and I don't think we've quite touched upon it here in previous shows on Sportswire with you here the past few months. What did your dad think of your love of wrestling?
he pretty much just like he was proud of me.
Yeah.
He pretty much just like been like more, if whatever you do, I'll support you. If you Even though he doesn't like seeing me get hurt or anything, but of course he treated me like always like a he kind of spoiled me, but at the same time he built me up to the man that I am now. And having him say that he's proud of me, and having him say that he always will follow me with my decisions of what I do in this journey of wrestling. I hope that he saw me with a title, but I know he's seeing me up in the heaven with a big smile when I won that title for him.
And what does it
Seeing,
mean to you that it's been 2 years and now in 2 years, you've started to assert yourself now as a major player in underground wrestling for a premier company that's also on top of being in the Hall of Fame. You're now a Hall of Famer, but it's also hosted two of the biggest super shows in all of wrestling this year and over the past several years. The All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Tournament, the Riot in the Ring, it's a company firing on all cylinders, and now you've got gold. And what does that now mean to you that you've done this in these 2 years? And what do you think your dad would say about all this?
honestly, I know for right now that he would have been celebrating with me right now as a champion. Excuse me.
It's okay.
Um,
It's okay.
Pretty much, he would have said that he's still proud of me, even though like he would have given me a pep talk saying that continue how you're doing. You don't do no wrong to nobody. You still do you, and at least give it all you got. And here and there, I'd be just like listening to him like throughout my memories, just like with him. I'd be saying like, okay, each and every match is just like, boom, put out whatever I got left. Boom, go whether win or lose, just give it all you got. You're 100%. Because like I know for sure, if you just like sell yourself short, you're just gonna be like dead in the water. But
That's it. You know what? I was speaking with the wrestler off the air today, and he was talking to me, and I was telling him, well, always be true to yourself. Always don't change, don't conform, stick to your beliefs, and it'll work and sort itself out. So there's no question that you've done that. And it's interesting that you beat Savage because I was thinking about this during the match, and we're going to put the match up here in a few minutes, so we'll watch it along. We'll get your thoughts, and we'll obviously have the chat come in here and join the conversation in a little while as well. But I kind of think this season you're what Savage was last year, because Savage has only been around. I know it's hard to fathom, but he's only been around a short amount of time. And look at what he's done. Look at all the success he's had. He, literally briefly held the world title here in NEW. He's an indie pro wrestler. He's got gold as a tag team champion. He finally beat Surge. He's the Born to Battle briefcase holder. I mean, some would even say that, he basically had a wrestler that he wrestled, and let's just say this All Wrestling Matters hardcore tournament kind of exposed him for maybe what some would say who he really was, and basically saw this guy was able to do in the ring. And I think that guy was like, you know what, maybe I'm just going to go and find something else to do, because I can't compete with guys like Savage. So really, you've been doing what Savage did last year. And I think it's ironic that you guys squared off and you took this championship from him, because what you've done here in NEW in a short amount of time, tag titles with Sane, the big wins you've had over Jake, Gabe Sayers, now Savage, you've pinned him in multi-man action as well. And I kind of think you're this season's Savage. What's your thoughts on that?
Honestly, if everybody thinks that, even Savage himself said that he, in the final conversation, he said that I remind him as his younger self of like how he began in the business. Honestly, that is the biggest compliment that anybody could say, because the way that he's been right now and all the accomplishment that you just said right now, that's pretty much saying like I'm at the same level, or I don't want to say same level, but he's been more out there than me. But like at the same time, I could say like I've been toe to toe with him, like what he's been doing. And
yeah, that's what I kind of think too, because I was thinking about it during the match, and it kind of occurred to me. I mean, Savage in a short amount of time has done all these things, and everybody talks about you off the record, kind of like how they talked about Savage a year ago. Everybody praises you. I'll get to one man that I met who actually met him flesh in the wound, who couldn't say enough things about you. And I'll have another comparison for you that you don't even know yet. So we'll talk about that during the match. But I really think that it's kind of ironic in some ways that you took this title from Savage, because we've seen what Savage has done. And I think Savage is going to go and do even bigger things in the next year and 2 years and so on. And I kind of think you're going to probably do hopefully as many big things as Savage will do by this time next year.
Yeah, hopefully. Hey, it's my time to shine, just like I said multiple times that before winning the Northeast title. Now that I have the Northeast title in my possession, it's time for me to really bright. Because like now that I have this, now I have to set myself to another chapter, saying like, okay, I need to shoot way up to the sky. With now I got some gold that's near me now, because like I've been hunting for a title. Now I'm gonna be the one that's getting hunted, because I know a lot.
It's a big difference from being the one that's the hunter to the one that gets hunted. I know you had tag gold with Sane, but it's not the same with singles gold. So we're going to talk about some of that. Let's put the match up here in a few minutes. I want to say thank you to everybody here hanging out with us. I see some different people. Just bear with us. We're going to watch this match here. We are with Joestar, the brand new NEW Northeast champion. I'm really excited about this here. So we're going to put. Yeah, well, you know what? It better sound as good as that Irish Stout you have. And what's the name of that Irish Stout again, Joe, for the audience, in case there's some people that might want to drink like you, as long as they're of age?
Oh yes, don't drink underage, kids.
Please don't. I'm still not of age. That's why I'm not drinking. It's a joke. Just kidding. But
if you guys ever want to drink like what I be drinking, go to Guinness, or you know what? Better yet, go to Forge Inns Irish Stout.
Okay, you know what? That's a good idea. That's a great idea. You know what? I couldn't agree more on that. That's why get you a taste, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we're gonna go like this. I have the match. I'm gonna go sync it up. Give me 1 second. I finally pulled it up. There we go. Okay, and ignore this because we'll get to him later, but we'll certainly get to him. But now we're gonna pull it up. There we go. Okay, now we're getting ready here. Watch out. Yeah, we'll get to that in a little while. We'll get to that individual who's always a topic, but we'll let him obviously just for time purposes just go out there and raise his hands like. But here we go. We're getting ready for match time. And tell us now for the audience what's going through your mind here as you get ready to enter the ring here for the Northeast Championship match.
So of course, what's going through my mind is just like adrenaline, pretty much. And
Mhm.
of course, I always be doing what my showboating does, honestly. But at the same time, trying to get all that energy, just like boom, consume it into my whole body. Cause like I know for sure, like I need the energy for just like each and every match. Um,
So it's never a concern that maybe you exert yourself too much, like guys like you, guys like D'Angelo the Flame, a man I know you've shared a locker room with, that are high energy guys that maybe exert yourself so much into the ring that all that adrenaline just over consumes you. Is there ever a worry you have too much energy out there?
Honestly, not really. Cause like
Hmm.
I'll pace myself. I'll just like get my breathing just like into rhythm. And I don't know if you see, but like when he be just like coming into the ring, I'll just like be sitting in the corner, just like ready, just like to
Mm.
like a lion in a cage, just like ready to pounce into the action. Now, honestly, a lot of nerves was coming through my head and my arms. That's why I was just like always consumed with energy.
Why? I mean, you're this high energy guy, confident star, but why? You're the star, Joe Star, and you put the star in star, but yet why did you have some of the nerves?
Well, first of all, this is was pretty much my first ever. Well, not really, cause like yeah, never mind. This is my first ever one-on-one match for a singles title. Cause I
Hmm.
remember the last time that I faced for the undisputed title, it was in a six-man eliminator,
Yep.
which I didn't end up winning, sadly, but that went to zero. Who pretty much I still haven't had that confrontation yet against what happened with the and season finale last time. But
Yep.
after that, I was tag teaming with Sane, but now it is different, very different, because I'm gonna be doing this on my own. Have to push on my old weight, honestly, because like it's just me
And
against
what are
Savage.
you doing there? You're all of a sudden putting your head toward the turnbuckle, or there's something there that you're doing? Is there a
Just
moment
pre
of just silence?
moment of silence, but at the same time, just asking for strength from my Father and from my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, of course.
Well, I am a reverend, so amen to that. But he's definitely watching over you. I can tell you that here. But Savage is a tough competitor. I have obviously seen guys wrestle Savage, and certainly, as I kind of mentioned here, a man without mentioning his name wrestled Savage, and I don't think he's been seen since anywhere. I mean, so that tells you, you go up against Savage. A lot of guys are like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to find something else to do. I mean, that's famously that one man that wrestled Savage all those months ago here from another place, and haven't seen him since. And I mean, maybe Tony
Hmm.
Khan is, contacted him and told him to, not show up. I don't know what, but but that's what kind of Savage brings to the table: the power of Savage. This is a guy that's got, real power. You look at him, and he looks like a pro wrestler. So, I mean, what is
He's
Savage like in the ring? Then, what is he like?
oh, very technical. That's what
Hmm.
I like. He'll just like strike you down. Like any opportunity like he finds, he's gonna strike you. Of course, he's very
Hmm.
professional. That's pretty much what's the different level barriers in a way. Like I'm still in the underground while he's still going up with
It's
Indian
funny
pro
you said
levels.
that. You stole the words right out of my mouth.
Great minds think alike,
Savage is,
Tom.
well, I don't know about that. You're a star, I'm not. But Joe, he's a pro wrestler, and you're not a pro wrestler at the moment. Maybe that'll change. I don't know. I'm not in the book of deciding who's a pro and who's not. But
Hmm.
does he basically go over the match with you and lay it out because he's the pro, and you kind of let him kind of help you go along and guide you throughout this match? Because again, there's a difference, right? There's
Hmm.
always a saying: a backyard guy goes into a pro ring, and a backyard guy is not going to have the same skills that a pro would. You're
Yeah.
still an underground guy, which is still not a pro. So really, Savage has skills that you don't necessarily have. So going into a match like this, is basically Savage the one going over the match with you and telling you how it's going to go along, or what's that like?
Well, honestly, going over the match, it was pretty much just like he will give like more thought to it, but at the same time, I I put some stuff in that pretty
Hmm.
much was a good ideas. Like he he's in this level and I'm in this level, but in real
Right, right,
life
right, right.
we're just right here in the middle. Because it's always wrestling's always like take two to tangle, of
But
course.
sometimes it's like if I go out and I see an independent wrestler or a pro wrestler, and I see, not saying you, but just in general, certain guys that are backyard wrestlers. It could be
Hmm.
even if they've been in a ring, right? But you can tell that there's like a difference. Like if you're a sports fan, right? I don't know if you're a sports fan. Like
Oh,
if
I
you
am.
see a pro player, right? You see, let's say I see an NBA pro player against a college basketball player. But even though a college basketball player plays at a very high level, still not the level of the NBA. So you could tell that there's a huge difference. So sometimes the NBA guy looks a certain way, and you could tell the college guys just, unfortunately, he doesn't have it. So in a match like this, there has to be some style or some type of tempo that Savage is going to maybe guide you to make that match look presentable, because he might, objectively speaking, have a little more experience and skill than you because of his background.
Yeah. Well, honestly, tempo probably for like pro pretty much is just like slow and steady.
Yep.
Pace yourself.
They say
Just
kiss.
like
Keep it simple, stupid.
yeah,
Yep.
kids.
Absolutely.
Keep it simple, super, obviously.
Yep.
But
Yep.
at the same time, backyarders could or undergrounders, just like myself, could do still. Cause like me
Yes.
going
Oh, I
against Savage
agree. I
happening
think
right there.
certain there's a lot of undergrounders in backyard guys that can, but and I was curious just in a match like this, how would that go about because of Savage's experience, and
Yeah.
just how would that play out in a match like this?
Pretty much just like he's pretty much targeting just like slow build up. And then when they're getting hot, we just like shoot off. Cause like I
Mm,
know pretty much pro wrestling is pretty much just like to keep the fan excited,
interesting. Right.
interesting, excited, keep them entertained.
And you did
Now,
there with a little bit of a modified swanton there.
yes, pretty honestly, multiple times I be doing that. Every single one tell me that I be looking good on it. So,
Well, that did actually look pretty good, and we're here with Joestar, who is the new Northeast champion, and we're going to watch the match that got him the championship, which was earlier this afternoon here for our friends over at NEW. I'm going to put their YouTube link up here in a little while and more. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters, and I'll plug everybody here. We'll let you talk to Joe in a little while, but we're watching this match. You said something interesting, Joe, because you're wrestling in a YouTube product. You're not yet there for a pro wrestling show. So then
yeah.
basically you and Savage are wrestling a style for the YouTube viewer then. So it's a little bit of a different pace than if it was at a pro wrestling match then, pretty much to summarize the point, then I would imagine.
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
Okay.
honestly, I could say like we could just like have like the Thunderdome era of wrestling, like pandemic era
I
wrestling.
don't know,
Since
Joe, if I want to go back to the Thunderdome era. I don't know if I want to do that, Joe. I mean, if you would like to go back to that, I would hope that I'll be dead, buried across the street in the cemetery from my house. I hope my mother's not listening to that. But if we go back to the Thunderdome era ever again, I hope I'm not on this earth. I am 6 feet under, because I do not want to go back, Joe, to an era of no fans, no nothing, and people wearing masks and all that stuff.
oh
I mean, I'm no thanks. I'm good. I think I
yeah,
can go
definitely.
and be put in the grave then. So thank you, Joe, though, for bringing up the Thunderdome. I hope to never hear it
Yeah, no,
again.
Thunderdome era, it sucked, but
It
that's
did. It
pretty
really
much what
sucks,
we
Joe.
do for. That's what we do for background because there's pretty much no fans. But
Yeah,
at
but
the
I
same
think it's a little
time,
different. Yeah, but I think it's
very
different in
different.
a YouTube I think there's visually a difference. I think you know what you're going into here, and
Hmm.
you tend to know the wrestlers. I think when WWE did the Thunderdome, I think it was just I mean, I
Just
appreciate the
everything go
creativity. I
quickly.
I think the NBA did like the piped in video game noise, and that was another thing. And they sort of did their own Thunderdome experience, but let's definitely not go back to that.
Go
But
back to that point.
yeah, let's not go back to that. But Savage is obviously working you down. He's wearing you down here a little bit. And just talk to me how you're trying to pace yourself in a match like this with Savage.
Honestly, I try not to pretty much go overwhelm myself. I try to
Okay.
just like find a way, just like an MMA fight. Like, okay, I'm locked into this position. What can I do? I see the ropes. I try reach for it. Of
It's a good
course,
point. Good
Savage
line.
was pretty much just pushing the rope for me. So I'm like saying, okay, if that's not gonna work for me, then you know he's too close to me. So boom, strategy, go to for the head,
But
and
you
of
can see,
course,
though, that he's a veteran in a way because that's what veteran wrestlers would do. He's working your knees, he's working
hmm
your ankles because in a long match like this, he's figuring with that strategy that you're not going to be able to compete with him, and that's going to
hmm
give him an opening to eventually retain his championship. That's exactly what he's implementing here in this match. That's a technical textbook playbook from a veteran wrestler.
oh yeah, no, of course. Like if I was in his shoes, I would have been doing the same thing. And you know, good. I would like to shout out to the commentator right here, because I know for sure
Yes,
before he was they were mentioning about my leg. I know for sure, like every single person that I went against always target my leg, because that's
I
pretty
think we
much
spoke about this on a prior episode about your leg, that they work your leg. And, is that something that you're starting to figure out now that your opponents are going after your leg for certain
honestly.
reasons?
It looks like they pretty much find, like, they saying that okay, this is the weak spot for me. Honestly, it's not too weak of a spot, but of course, if you're trying to hurt it, I can't. I will try to fake it, say like, okay, I'm not hurt, but at the same time, they don't know if I'm gonna be hurting or not. Because I know
Yeah.
everybody else, they'll just like try to go for my leg.
And that's obviously a smart, again, veteran strategy. And Savage is certainly the one that has the veteran experience. Joe, as I was watching you with those punches, and I have to bring up Mr. Gabe Sayers, and I'll definitely talk about Gabe in a little while because of obviously Mr. Sayers and I had a chance to meet in the real world. And yes, it was a moment. It was a moment that I'm sure a lot of people will remember for a long time. But he said something about you that was really fascinating. And I was watching those punches that you were throwing towards Savage. And Gabe Sayers, in a way, compared you to Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. You're
The
the
welcome
star
man.
of NEW, the star of the show, the star of underground wrestling. And, Joe, I was wondering, what do you make of that comparison? Gabe Sayers, the Heartstopper, Mr. Gabe Sayers, the man that's your employer in TF Crew, and a man that's been out there and wrestled Grimm of GTS and Jimmy Controversy, all these guys he's been in there with. And he says that you're like Dusty Rhodes. What does that mean to you?
Well, that means a lot coming from Gabe, actually saying like if I'm like the Dusty Rhodes of the underground, because like Dusty Rhodes been like so charismatic. Of course, he didn't won the world title. That's sad because
Well, he
he was
won a
a
couple of
face.
times, but didn't really win it
Well, NWA,
very well.
yes,
In the
actually.
NWA, he won it for he had it for 100 days total. But
Mm-hmm.
I think the point is that what Gabe was trying to say is that, like you said, you've got some charisma, but you're
Yeah.
also a common man. You don't
Oh
look
yeah.
like Power Surge. You don't look like certain telegenic wrestlers that we see come on this platform
Oh
or out
yeah.
there in other places. You're a guy that's kind of the working man, the everyday guy, just trying to live his dream. And that was what Dusty Rhodes was. He was the son of a plumber, and he was this guy that was on hard times, and he did it because of just who he was. He did it for everybody, and that's kind of who you are in a way. I watch you out there, your energy, you're larger than life. You're a guy I said last time on the show that I hear your name, I smile. You're one of these guys like Dusty Rhodes, right? People, they smile when they hear Dusty Rhodes' name. And then we see it again. The Puerto
Oh,
Rican dream. Maybe you're the Puerto Rican dream. You know what? Dusty's the
yeah.
American dream, but you're the Puerto Rican dream, Joestar. And I mean, it's got to mean something to you just to even hear being mentioned in the same breath.
Yeah, I am very honored to be compared like to Dusty Rhodes, because like yes, I am doing pure like what pretty much Dusty Rhodes is doing right now, but in the underground scene, because I be working 9 to 5 regular jobs, and when I come to that ring or to any ring that's anywhere like in upstate New York or in Connecticut, of course, in more places soon to be, but maybe you'll see me Joestar go all around places. Don't worry. But at the same time, when I go to those rings, everything go for 100% because that's what my passion is
Well, you
and
know
my
what? It
dream.
looked like there 100%, Joe, that D Savage retains the Northeast Championship. And I mean, you weren't going to be the Puerto Rican dream there because it looked like you were on Dream Streets 1, 2, 3, and Savage is retained. And everything seems like Savage is going to continue his run, but it looks like our referee, one of our senior officials at NEW who looks familiar, has decided to
Yes.
restart the match because of, well, one of your feet there on the rope, it looks like.
Yeah. Honestly, when I felt like I was in the corner and when I felt that Savage was gonna go for that GFN, I went out. But
You look like you were on show.
good thing that my body instincts, I put something was under there. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you could have seen, but if my leg was not there, but my arm was under too. So if I didn't
Well,
got one backup
we'll
plan,
go back to
I
that
got
in a
the
minute.
other.
Let's go. We'll go back to it. Let's go back to it here. Let's go back. No, wrong way. Let's see where we are. Maybe this is it. All right. So we're gonna pull it back up.
A little bit more.
You know. Well, I'm gonna play it out at this point because I got my internet's a little slow at the moment.
Oh,
So
no
we're gonna
problem.
we're gonna,
But
we're gonna watch it out. The chat can wait. I mean, they'll wait. We'll get to see it. But obviously, we're gonna see what you're talking about here in a minute, and you tell me what exactly it was, and I'm going to try to zoom in here as best as I can, and because you say that you did something, and I'll let the chat. Let's see if they can figure it out as well, because I do have a bunch of people here with us. Actually, we have a nice little crowd for a Saturday. So, well, it's because you're
oh,
Joe Star. You're the star of the show. Yesterday I did a sports show after Chase Wakefield, and literally nobody showed up. So it's good that
oh,
you brought some people, Joe.
I think
Maybe
I'm a people
it should
bringer
be a
at this
sign I
point.
shouldn't talk sports anymore. But let me go back to it because I think I'm a little bit behind in time. So let's go here. Okay, so I'm going to go, I think, right. Am I behind? Do I need to keep going? Yep, I think right here, right? Am I right here?
Oh, a little bit way behind.
Here?
A little bit more. A little bit more. Um, a little bit more, because like I know that's gonna be a little bit. Oh, there we go. Yep, right there.
Okay.
So honestly, me trying to go for the ropes right now. Of course,
Yep.
Savage is the veteran. Just I keep targeting my legs.
Which we talked about. Yep.
Now, if everybody's gonna see, of course, like how my body reacted. Now,
I see it there.
after
There you go. You just clutched your kneecap there, right?
and that was the same knee that I pretty much rammed into that stone wall. Oh, excuse me.
That's okay.
But
I know you're celebrating here still, but there he goes. Savage works again the same spot. Works the same spot.
yeah, and I would have done the same strategy if I find a weakness. I'll go for it. It's opportunity time.
Opportunity arises, and that's the old adage. Opportunity arises, and obviously you're fighting back here, but
Mm-hmm.
Savage is going to eventually come back here, and I'm gonna see what you're talking about. and figure out where we are. But you're certainly beating down on Savage, and
Hmm.
that's obviously you're getting on him a little bit. So we'll obviously wait to see where do we go from here. And if you are here again, I'll be here a couple of different times. I see Abraham Storm is here. Yes, Abraham will be here 9 o'clock on Tuesday. He'll be here 9 o'clock Christmas Eve. So if you have nowhere to go on Christmas, I'll be here, and I'll be here Christmas Day too with Sean Jovi, who's apparently got something to say. But right
Oh,
now I'm watching. Yeah, he's always got something to say though. What else is new? But we'll let that play out at a different point at a different time. But Savage is definitely doing some things here. But there we go. We're coming up to it
boom,
now. Now I see where we are. So there you
boom,
go. There's Dusty. Yep,
boom.
there's the Puerto Rican Dream. Yep, you are the Puerto Rican Dream. Now you're gonna probably watch some Dusty matches here. I'm sure somebody's gonna say,
Oh,
watch the
I'd be
Dusty match.
watching a lot. I've been watching a lot of Dusty matches. Go back. I love to watch more like old time when I grew up, because of course, now I be watching nowadays, but it's always good to revisit the past.
Yep. Past. You can always learn from the past. There's no
Of
question
course.
about that there. But obviously, you thought you had him, and the veteran Savage. Who, it's funny to call him a veteran because he's only been there a short amount of time in the ring, but he's actually, because of his indie experience, is a veteran. And you're
Mm-hmm.
obviously a backup. You think you've got him, but you don't. And there's
Nope.
Savage, and this is it.
Yank.
There he goes. Yeah. All right, and there we go. All right, now wait.
So
Now, okay.
now
I
you
see.
see
I
if
see your
my
leg, though. I see your leg. Okay.
mm,
What did I miss?
now you see how my arm was positioned, right? If
Yes.
my leg, so because I was knocked out completely, if my leg didn't got hooked at all, my
Right, we're
arm
looking at it. All right.
pretty much was under the rope. So
Well,
if
I see
my,
your leg was under the rope. All right. I see your leg and foot were under the rope. Okay.
but
So what?
since, and arms could count as when on the bottom, of course, it's gonna count as a rope break as well. So
Oh,
now,
I see. So you're telling me that because your hand is on the bottom of the ring or the mat, that also counted as to why the match should have been restarted. Is that what you're telling me right now?
yeah, well, that was my backup plan if my leg didn't got hooked, because of course, if anything that's like under the ropes, hey, I always
Well, your
worried
leg,
about
there's no
everything.
question your leg is touching something. So obviously
Yeah.
we know that the match was going to be restarted. So
Mm-hmm.
you knew something was up. Savage, to his credit, goes right back to finish you. He goes right back, but you sort of get another chance. You get another crack at this, and this is where the match is going to, come to an end here. And Savage is looking frustrated. He's always frustrated sometimes, bro. But in this case, I don't blame him because you were out. This match was over. Match was
And I
over and
and
done.
I think the way that knowing that I hooked my leg to the rope and made him restart the match, give him that false hope of him winning, kind of really pissed him off a little bit.
Well,
And
I was pissed off too. I mean, I thought I won the match and I didn't, you know?
a little bit when the frustration comes to doubt, you're gonna be a little like, okay, what do I do now? Like, like I'll be pissed off and I'll just like try like to end it quickly, but that's gonna be thinking unrationally, because you
Well,
can
he
make a
does get
mistake.
one last breath here. He got one last gasp because you thought you hit him with a code breaker. The match was over, but now you're starting to get upset. Unlike Joestar there, you get upset and that's it. I mean, it was kind of like an elbow, a bionic elbow.
That's just
It
how.
was. I mean, a little faster than Dusty would do it, but you did it. I mean, what's going through your mind right there, Joe? You win a championship that only a handful of men have won.
Honestly, throughout my mind, I was like
Yeah,
still in fighting mode. But until when I saw the title come to me, I was like, I did it.
you did
I
it.
pretty much did it.
You're gonna be like Rocky. Yo, Adrian, I did it. Yo,
I
Adrian.
I love my Rocky movie, so I wanted to do that, but
Oh, you know what?
I
You missed it a few days ago. We had Mephisto and Omen Black, and Mephisto kept chanting Drago.
oh man, that
Kept
Drago
chanting
fight was
Drago, and it was bizarre. But Savage gives you a sign of respect. Very classy move by Savage.
knowing that it was the first time ever me and him going 1-on-1. I was like prepared, but at the same time I was not prepared. And
Word.
I gotta give my respect to Savage. He carried that title into a good legacy, but now it's my turn to continue that legacy forward.
No question about that. And congratulations there. What a pretty belt, by the way. Just what a pretty belt. And let me, before I get to the chat, I do want to ask you about a few follow up things in NEW because there's still a lot to get to here in the second half of the show. But I put the NEW link up here on YouTube. We're closing in on 2,200 subscribers. So if you're out there in the chat, I'd love for you to hit a sub button for NEW. NEW's got a lot of stuff coming up. And as a matter of fact, Joestar is going to be wrestling this Tuesday. Yes, he's wrestling on Christmas Eve. He's not getting a day off, and he's wrestling a man that I literally just met like just about 53 hours or so ago. So we're going to talk about that here, Anderson. We're going to talk about a big show coming up in January. I'm going to talk about another company maybe and a bunch of different things. But this is the NEW YouTube channel. Please go out there and hit a follow, and I would appreciate that. I think, Joe, let's get to the chat here because I want to talk about the second half of things here with you, some other stuff. But let me get to some people because I got some comments. The first comment is always Zilla. She would like to say she loves, likes, and appreciates you, and we certainly would concur. Congratulations. Thank
Always
you, Zilla.
appreciate Zilla's support.
Thank you, Zilla, for calling me a goat face. It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. Mr. Dvorak is here. What was your thoughts on the main event of today's show? Anything you want to say on that?
It was a battle. I was pretty much just like
disappointing outcome, though, right? Disappointed?
Not disappointed, but it was just like frustrating that DHC got the victory, but at the same time, Jay put on a battle with Surge, and
I think there's a lot left with them. I think Jake and Surge, they got plenty of left in the tank, plenty.
And he's apologizing to everybody, but sometimes
what's with people? No, what is with people on Sportswire the last few days apologizing? Anthony Steele was apologizing a couple of days ago. I had Chase Wakefield yesterday, who before wrestling Silas Walker was basically apologizing. Jake Dvorak is apologizing. And by the way, Jake apologized here last time he was on the show. Joe, what is with people? Do people are they worried that they're not going to be on Santa's nice list this year? Are they worried about lumps of coal? I am seriously wondering who's next to apologize. I mean, you don't have to apologize, Joe. You've done things the right way, but I mean, boy, everybody seems to be apologizing right now in the underground wrestling circuit. I wish some of those people a few months ago who did those bad things would have really apologized, but yet I got Anthony Steele, I got Chase Wakefield, and Jake Dvorak. Probably three of the last people in the underground wrestling circuit that would apologize and being somber and reflective, and yet here we are.
Honestly, I think it's because of the Christmas or just like the New Year's coming up. So, they just want to rehash.
Did they not want to ask me for a loan or something? Were they wanting to ask me? They should have asked me for a loan. Did Jake need $20 or something? I mean, I would have gave him the $20. I mean, seriously. Well, I mean, everybody's apologizing lately on Sportswire. What's next? I mean, tomorrow I've got Ace Reed, who I'm sure who's promising to say some things that I think he's going to apologize for. I mean, so who knows? Yes, congratulations, Joe. Don't apologize, Joe, for winning the Northeast title. If you do that, Joe, I'll really think you've got some serious mental problems. But
no, I'm not going to say sorry for that.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Thank you, Joe.
Honestly, I do feel sad that, Jake and Serge lost to DHC, but at the same time, I like I told him before, we fight. Sometimes we lose, but at the same time, we'll get them at the end.
You know what? The war is far from over.
The battle was lost, but there's still war going through.
War is far from over. Mm-hmm. Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Three Kings Day, Happy Festivus. I mean, all
Three Kings doesn't come until January.
I still say it anyway. I still say, I know that, Joe. I'll say Kwanzaa. I'll say Three Kings Day, Festivus. I'll say Christmas, Hanukkah. I'll say them all. That way, I cover all my bases. Thank you. Jake has said that. I want to say hello to our friends in Roseburg, Oregon. BTW is in the house. How you doing, everybody here from BTW? BTW is here next Monday night. I'm very excited about that. Hopefully, I won't be on 50 Sudafeds by then, but we'll move on. And Sudafeds are an interesting thing, but don't take it. I feel like Brett Favre, he was a quarterback who famously was addicted to painkillers, and it was like he took so many painkillers he couldn't get off them. And I feel like I'm on so many Sudafeds that I should get off them, and I can't get off them. But I'm still sick. But I'm sure one day I'll get off them. But yes, Jake didn't let anybody down. Jake was
No.
imitating my intro, which I think was not my usual intro because my voice does hurt doing the intro. But yes, the number one global sports. Maybe Jake, you know what? You think Jake should take over on Sportswire? I mean, because there's a guy that sounds like Jake that does commentary. I mean, maybe Jake should move on and maybe he wants to just take over on Sportswire. Maybe he wants to be the one to run the show. Maybe he should do that. I mean, maybe
he'll be running two shows.
Yeah, maybe that should be his way to go. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what he wants. I'll let him have it. You know, we got a good relationship. I think we do. Nathaniel Rage is in the house. He's the House of Rage Productions. That's his YouTube link. Give him a follow. He's actually wrestling his brother, whose also last name is Rage. Rage versus Rage. It's not a video game. It's a real thing. Nicholas Crenson, the RCW champion, is here, who's live IMF's Winter Class show. Thank you, Nicholas, for tuning in. Nicholas is here, live from Iowa. That's nice of him. That's very nice of him to show up while he's wrestling. Wow. Is that possible, Joe? You could actually be live and wrestling at the same time? Because this is what he was doing. He was wrestling and watching us live on Sportswire at the same time. I hope his match went well.
Hopefully.
Hopefully for him. Yep. Hello to Bad Queen Savage 20. Hi, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Hit the sub button for us at Sportswire Radio 65.7 and also NEW. Hello there, Bad Queen Savage. Also, yeah, I'm with Jake. I don't drink myself, but I do have a big gulp. How is everybody's night going so far about wrestling? It's a lot of fun. I mean, right now, what you should do if you hear Bad Queen Savage, and you're definitely not a bad queen, if you hit the sub button for our friends at NEW, I put the link here in the chat. And it was, I know, a while ago, but hit a follow for them. They're closing in on 2,200 subscribers. And it was a few years ago, they were at 750 subscribers. And now they're at 2,200 almost. I want to say hello to my buddy Rob Ryan, one half of the Wrestling Zero Tag Team Champions. Ace Reed is here tomorrow in your chair, 9 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm looking forward to that. And Zilla loves your theme song. Yes, it was a good theme song. And she was listening to that song. And yeah, we all can listen to it. Hello there. Hello.
I love Set It Off.
And we're sorry for your loss, but
Thank you,
Jake would like to, what we agree with. He's definitely proud of you. Yes, he is definitely proud. We're all proud of you here in Sportswire. You're a Hall of Fame. You are a Hall of Famer now, so remember that. We're all proud of you. Yes. Yep, we're definitely proud of you. There you go. Abraham Storm is in the house. Abraham will be here Tuesday night at 9. He'd like to say hello. Who else we got here in the chat? We got a lot of people here tonight on a Saturday. I love, respect, and appreciate Abraham Storm. That's a mouthful. How's it going, everyone? Doing great. Craven Michaels would like to say hello. Congratulations on your win. Justin Abel Stain is in the house. And obviously, your tag team partner would like to say hello, gentlemen. Congrats to the champ and my partner, the star of the show himself.
Thank you.
Good to see Mr. Sane. I think he gave my friend Gabe Sayers some regards today, but Mr. Sayers found a way to get a video. I'm going to get to Gabe in a few minutes. I want to get to Gabe. That'll turn into our next segment in a minute. But yes, who else? Most Pacers games have. I think the Pacers have a crowd. I wouldn't say that. I think if we're going to go sports for a minute, I would say in the NBA, if you would have told me the Charlotte Bobcats or the Detroit Pistons would have piped in noise, I would believe that. I think Indiana is a good enough team. I don't know. I love Justin Abel saying I'm going to mildly disagree with that because, I know I have my issues with Indiana wrestlers, but I would say that the Pacers fans themselves, I think the Pacers, they don't have piped in noise. But what do I know? Let's see who else we got here. Hello. The Puerto Rican Dream. There you go. Justin mentioned he's a Cambodian warrior. He's a war machine. He knows he's a Cambodian war machine. He would know it. His punches look like they hurt. Could you imagine him going like this? Or like that? He might want to go.
I felt that way.
He might want to go like this to me right now. He might want to, but I hope not. I mean, I like him. I hope he likes me still, but who knows? But he may not. He actually may not want to hit me right now because I'm sick, so I might get a pass. But
oh yeah, no, you'll always get a pass.
I don't know about that. Justin Parsley, this guy is the hall monitor of Sportswire right now. He's the one who gives passes. Let's not go there. Hidden Blade is like the bionic elbow in some regards. There you go.
Remember saying it's called the Star Slasher.
Well, but he mentioned it the way he mentioned it. Yep. Who else we got here? Let's see. What's up? I'm chilling. Well, we still got a couple of days, Abraham. I hope you do some things before Tuesday. I mean, don't don't do a countdown clock. I mean, I'm going to be on a few times before Tuesday, but average sane Tuesdays, to be honest. I'll try to. Yeah, 9 o'clock. If you have if you have nothing to do Christmas Eve, it'll be interesting. Thanks, man. No problem. Who else we got?
The funny
Skim.
thing.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you want?
The funny thing is, like I
Yep.
said earlier on, that I was gonna see one match, but honestly, I had to see two matches today.
You had what?
I had two matches to look out for today.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're talking about Sane and Gabe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll get to that. That's going to tie into next. Joe, I know you're reading my mind. I'm going to get there. Don't you worry. Let's come back to the skim cost on BYWE referees. This is what I got. At least the excess budget went to the tables. Yeah, I always wondered, how much do you guys spend on tables in the budget? Maybe we should ask me to run the company. Really, I could probably, my bank account could probably afford them. But let's not go there. NEW is doing just fine. I am a Patreon subscriber, by the way. I actually do subscribe to the Patreon page. I actually do. So, yeah, I do. Jake and Justin would probably know. They probably have my credit card info. They probably want to run it on something. You try your best. It's been a while since I heard that name, Justin. Well, now you just did. My booking department is better than my project management department. Well, I mean, you've certainly had some troubles these days with DHC. And hit the sub button for NEW. Who else we got here? I live eternally between past and present, my friend. It is the holidays. Ho, ho, ho. Jake may have done some bad things in the past, but cupcakes and negotiations at his house makes everything okay. So, I hate to ask. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I hate to be like Wade Barrett. I'm afraid I have bad news. But so what are those cupcakes like there at Jake's compound? What kind of cupcakes are they? Would you mind me asking? Are they, anything about these cupcakes?
Honestly, the time that I was over there, I forgot that there was cupcakes and cinnamon rolls, and I was sad.
Oh, cinnamon rolls!
Told me about it.
Well, you know what I used to like? I don't know if they have them still where you guys are, but they've reintroduced them. Hostess used to make these cupcakes called baseballs, and they would make them like a baseball. So you'd have, golden cake. You'd have vanilla filling inside the golden layer cake, and then you'd have almost like a baseball icing, like a baseball have like the whole white, the red laces for the baseball, and it was cupcakes. And what they used to be really great for way back when I was a little baby growing up in Brooklyn, you would get a baseball card with them. Now they just give you the cupcake because they realize that would cost them way too much money to give you free baseball cards. But cupcakes, when I think of cupcakes, I think of Hostess's baseballs. They actually made Hostess's baseballs, and I used to really enjoy those things. I don't know if they have them in Massachusetts, but maybe Jake will tell me and then hit me over the head, which he wants to anyway. You're welcome, Sane. I got you, brother. Tom, can I get a small loan of him? I don't have quite $1 million. I can give you a loan, but I don't. I'm not worth quite $1 million. I'm worth something, but not $1 million.
The Reverend Tom Bryce, not worth $1 million. Wow,
not worth $1 million, but I'm worth a lot. I'm not worth $1 million, but I'm worth a lot. If I'm worth.
I got it. You're worth $1 billion on my book.
That was Chase Wakefield's show, but that's in Bitcoin. That doesn't count. But I'm worth something. Not quite 1 million, but I am worth something though. But not $1 million. No, not $1 million. But I am worth something. Let's go here to some more comments. I don't know who you are, but thank you for tuning in. And I am on Twitch, by the way. I'm almost at 50 followers on Twitch, so. I'm at Sportswire Radio on Twitch if you want to follow me. The only quarterback I acknowledge is Tom Brady. Well, Russell Wilson didn't look like I would acknowledge him today. Lamar Jackson still hasn't won a big game. Patrick Mahomes, I really don't want to acknowledge, although everybody wants to acknowledge Taylor Swift in red. I won't go there. But let's move on. Probably had to show up on the Titan trial. Congrats, Joestar, on your awesome win. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We love that. Love, love, love. Hit the sub button for us. You're the man, Tom. I respect you. I wouldn't hit you. Well, I'm sick right now. I wouldn't want to get you sick. Obviously, I'm doing something Monday. Yeah, I know that. It was a joke. It was a joke. Vanilla cupcake. See, I was close. That's what the baseballs were. The Hostess baseballs were those. They reintroduced them about 1.5 years ago. If I wanted to become a wrestler and come to NEW Underground Wrestling, my dream opponents are Joestar and Gabe Sayers. Well, hang on tight. I'm going to talk about Gabe Sayers, and I'm going to talk about Joestar because Joe's right in front of me. My other favorite is Set It Off in Partners in Crime. Okay.
I think you're going to hate me this, but like the last time that I went to a Set It Off concert, I saw Set It Off with the Ash Costello when they were singing that song.
Okay. I know who Ash Costello is. Yeah. Did you ask for a phone number?
I wish. Honestly, I just went there, just rocked out, and
Now,
I was
Joe, I
just
think this is where I would have to use my substantial work to get that number for you, but I might actually have to take the number just for me. I'll think about it. It is the holidays, so while I'm not worth a million, I might be close to worth a million, but I will certainly, if I get Ash Costello's number, you are a nice guy. Maybe I'll pass it along for you.
I
I'll
know
let
for sure. Probably I'll just like want. I really want to just like text one of probably Cody or just like Max to see if I could just like still like have their numbers around.
Oh, that's true too. Amen. And I refuse to. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, don't get me started. Don't get me
Ooh.
started. This is why I appreciate you. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, let's not go there. I acknowledge our tribal chief. Well, I am a subscriber on the Patreon page. I do subscribe. I actually am a subscriber on the Patreon page. I think we're good. We're off with we got everybody here. We got a good amount of comments. I now want to talk about your next match here coming up this Tuesday. Your next match here coming up this Tuesday on Christmas Eve. And I was debating on which poster should I put up, but I think I'm going to selfishly go into business for myself and actually put a poster up of a man that, I can't believe I'm saying this. Yes, it's true. A man that I actually met flesh in the wound. And I'm going to do it here right now for the audience. And, I'm going to obviously give you the hint. It's this guy here, Mr. Gabe Sayers. And you're wrestling him this Tuesday. And I was wondering, Joe, what can we expect coming up here in a little Christmas Eve show here for everybody here for the NEW fan base? And I'll be watching this very closely. But right off the bat, Joe, no vacations, no days off. You got a match with a heart stopper, and his heart literally almost stopped against Justin Abel Sane. And tell us then what we can expect coming up here this Tuesday against the Heartstopper, the man that I literally just met just over 54 hours ago, Gabe Sayers.
Well, since it's the season of giving, I would
Yes,
like to say that, of course, since I recently just won the new championship,
you did.
sadly, I can't make that as a championship match.
That's
But
very kind of you, Joe. I'm sure
one,
Gabe will who's not watching this right now, will when he watches it, will probably have a heart-stopping like reaction.
pretty much, since it's a season of giving, and he'll probably thinking that I'm giving him a title shot. But sadly, no, management can't let me do that. But for right now, I'm just gonna be pretty much doing the same that I did last time, which is like going with my same strategy. Just like if he keeps knocking me down, I'll go up. But this time, I think it's gonna be roles reverse. I'm just gonna like go for the attack instead of getting the offense in. Cause last time he kept trying to wear me down, put me down,
Mhm.
but I kept getting up, and at the end, I beat him.
And I was going to bring
I'm
that up.
one,
Yep.
well, 2-1 technically, but for one-on-one matches, I'm up one, and I could make it two.
And I was going to bring that up. Now you have a victory over him in singles action, which is obviously a huge feather in your cap. And it was kind of mentioned here during the commentary here of your match about your success, and Gabe is a part of that. But how do you not stay complacent here? Because obviously Gabe in his own right had a huge victory, and you do know, as I alluded to in the beginning of the show, is that Gabe has a title match for any belt that he wants. So theoretically speaking, not only could you be seeing him here on Tuesday, who knows? You could see him on January 11th because Gabe, he could choose your title. He doesn't have to go for the hardcore title. He doesn't have to go for the world title. He can go for the Northeast Championship because you're the man that holds that title and he's wrestling you.
Sorry to break your news, Tom, but Insanity Calamity is not gonna be Gabe either.
Yeah,
It's gonna
that'd
be
be
the
Leonidas.
number one contender, Leonidas.
But he still gets a chance to choose that title shot though of his choice,
He could. He got like a Money in the Bank
like with
type of.
Savage. Yep.
He got like a Money in the Bank type of deal. Probably make it a triple threat match. but
He could, and if he beats you on Tuesday,
which
who's to
probably
say that
I'll
he couldn't
make.
interject himself? No, I agree with you, but there's still that possibility. Listen, he could say, you know what, I want Zero, I want Jake, I want somebody else, but he's wrestling you Tuesday, so he gets a chance to scout you once again.
And he could look at the lights one more time.
Well, that's
But
what he's doing. And he's good at doing
that's
that, by the way, because he was looking at the lights in order to get to his Metro North chain when we met him on Thursday.
not to throw shades at Gabe, but I already beat him once. And, it was a happy Halloween. He was having
Yep.
fun. But
We spoke
calling me
about that
out.
here, how big a victory that was. We spoke about that. You were here, I
Hmm.
think, like a week and a half or so after that. And that was a big win. That was a huge victory at that time. But now
It was.
you've come even further. You're the Northeast champion. You're kind of like you got the workhorse title of NEW. If you think about it, you've got like the workhorse title in NEW, and you're getting Gabe again. You guys have already faced recently. And like you said, Gabe may or may not choose the Northeast title. I'll get to
Hmm.
the show in a minute, but it's nevertheless a preview of what could potentially come.
Honestly, wrestling is always subject to change. And, it's always unpredictable. But at the same time, I always have like that one edge advantage. I know
Yeah.
what he does. I know what he pretty much do. He haven't seen what I did because most of the time he just like beating me down and tired himself out. But he doesn't what I got on my sleeve.
And you could make the case how far you've come in 6 weeks, 7 weeks to where you were then to where you are now is that you're a much better wrestler. You're a much more experienced wrestler. And if you beat Gabe Sayers then, now you should be very confident. You're the star of the show. You're the star of NEW. You're the star, arguably, of underground wrestling. You're the Northeast champion. So, yeah, you should be confident because look at where you were then and here you are
Look
now.
at how I am now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was tag team champions during that time.
But now
And
you're a singles champion of a
now I'm a
title that's got
singles.
a prestigious history. Not like a title that's got 85 people that have held it in 300 days. You got
Hmm.
Surge, Savage, Spade, Spencer Nightfall, Justin Abel Sane, and you. And you.
Hmm. That's just only a handful of people, and
That's it.
I'm honored because the title's. I was gonna say it's kind of brand new still, but it's not really brand new. But it's still fresh of like on how many people hold the title since honestly the Viking of a Man Surge just like eliminated pretty much every people in sight. But now it's gonna be my turn to keep and hold on that title.
Gabe said something about you that was interesting. And I didn't have a lot of time with Gabe. I only literally had, I don't know, 7, 8 minutes with him. So I didn't have the moment, a longer amount of time that I would have liked. But in the time that I had with him, he was very high on you. And he was very high on you and another individual, Caster. He talked about, again, the Dusty Rhodes reference and, you're a star. That's what he talked about. He's a star. And, you're a guy that's now starting to become a star, literally, right? We talked about you in all of underground wrestling. So now you're no longer some guy that's an up and comer. You're a guy now that has gold. So how do you now deal with this transition? How do you stay afloat? How do you stay on top and not, let's say, become a disappointment or a bust or almost in some ways have like, not that you're a sophomore slump or a sophomore jinx, but avoid the pitfalls because now you're the guy, like you said, you talked about it tonight. You went from being the hunter to now you're the hunted. Guys like Gabe talked in a very brief time, praised you, right? Jake has been here, praised you. Sane is in the chat. He was a tag champion with you. So how do you now deal with this and how do you stay on top? Because now you're a guy that's arrived and that's going to be a totally different pressure that you're going to deal with now.
Well, Honestly, the only thing that I could pretty much just tell you right now is just me to just like continue how I'm working hard, working obviously in the gym, and just like continue just like to perfect my craft. That from there I could go extra, which that's what I'm gonna start doing now, going extra. Because now that I'm a champion and everybody's gonna go after me, now for sure. It used to be like a clean sweep, like straight edge. Now that's what I was going for, like up the hill. Now I'm up that hill for with that Northeast division.
Yep.
Now I need to be just like pretty much protect that area, which I need to do, of course, more than I usually do.
So how do you deal with this pressure? You have pressure now on you. It's a lot of pressure.
That's the pressure of a champion that has to deal. And
Can you handle it?
I'm ooh, that's a good question, and that's the one
That's why
thing
you're in
that I
prime
have
time,
to
baby.
show to everybody else that I can
That's
handle
nice. You
that
took the glasses
pressure.
off because Anthony Steele hasn't taken them off. Nolan McDermott hasn't taken them off. It's good that you took them off for a minute.
You know,
No, you can
nothing
keep them
like
on, Joe.
beat
Joe, you're
that.
the champion. Joe, put them back on. It's a joke. Look.
No, no, but at the same time, pressure is the best thing from form of art. You know why?
Yes.
Because that could bring more doubt than what I could do, and I could push myself even more. That's the good psychology of being a champion.
Well, we're going to find this out here Christmas Eve. You are taking on Gabe Sayers. And, speaking of the man that we spoke about for a few minutes, Leonidas, and he's also going to be in action. He's a man, no matter what Gabe Sayers decides to do, he's the one that's going to see you on January 11th for that championship. So no matter what Gabe decides, Gabe could interject himself in the match or go for another title. That's up to Gabe. We'll find out how this goes first on Tuesday. But you are seeing Leonidas in 3 weeks. So talk
Yes, I
to me,
am.
so talk to me then about, are you watching his match closely, or I mean, what's your thoughts here on Leonidas coming up here on January 11th?
Well, I've been watching everybody's match every single time because we're all a big community at the same time.
Yeah.
But and first time ever is for everything else, honestly. So I always keep my eye on everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever like is far behind me, far in front of me. Well, I don't want to say behind me, but far in front of me and just like on my same level. At the same
Mm-hmm.
time, everybody gets scouted through because anybody could come from my championship.
Absolutely. But Leonidas is a man that's had a lot of success. He's another peer of yours. He's been a
Former.
world champion. He's got a match
Mm-hmm.
with a man that was a former Northeast champion, and he's looking for momentum. And again, you're going to see him here in a couple of weeks, in 21 days. So you have no time off here. There's no, hey, I'm going to celebrate for a few weeks. And I had on one champion a few weeks ago in another promotion, and he basically told his owner he wasn't wrestling for weeks. No, you don't have that luxury. You're wrestling Tuesday against the Gabe Sayers. And then you've got Leonidas, who's been a former world champion. You have him in 21 days. I mean,
Yes.
this is a lot.
Well, same as the privilege of world champions and being champion at all. You'll start to get like the hunter get into the huntress, and then the
Yep.
other thing. That's another thing about being a champion. They're gonna put more on you since all eyes are gonna be on you holding the champion and see how far you could take that elevate from where you are from now to later. And of
Right.
course, I don't mind that. They could bring each and every one of them, line them up. I could knock them down or I could get knocked out, but at the same time, I'm still gonna go
But you
pass
also
through you.
don't want to avoid you don't want to avoid being a champion for, we talked about Surge, right? We know what
Hmm.
Surge did with that title, right? I
Yes.
mean, he held the title for over a year, so you don't want to lose this title and be a
Quickly,
footnote.
like
Yeah, you
down.
don't want to be
That's
so.
the one little thing that is a little complicated to being a champion.
Yep.
There's people that could survive and go toe to toe with other people each and every single time, or you could die trying. That's a
And
skill of a
that's and you're
warrior.
also in a tough boat because they always say that the champion is most vulnerable in his first defense. Your first
Mm-hmm.
defense is coming up January 11th. So your
Yes.
defense to this title is where you're most vulnerable. So after, sure, if you hold on to the title a couple times, I think you can certainly ride and figure out being the guy that's now going to make the transition from hunter to hunted. But again, you've got Leonidas, who's always in contention. Look at what he's done against Serge. Look at what he's done, period. So it's not going to be easy for you. It's not going to be easy. And we're going to find out. Obviously, you're going to see Insanity Calamity coming up on January 11th. Shout out to our friend here, Mr. DG Cole, Mr. Brent himself, who did the artwork. So we thank him for that as well. We thank him for some of the other stuff he's done for NEW. And also, again,
A
you
lot
got
of good artwork that
a lot of
this
great
man
artwork.
always do.
Absolutely. And that's why I can't do it. That's why I'm here. He's there, but he's also designed this for us. And got some other great matches here. Tyson Spade will be in action against Justin Abel Sane. Your old friend or frenemy Kuma, the Golden Boy, is going to take on Rhea Silver. Or Rhea Silver, I mean, I wouldn't want to get on Rhea Silver's bad side. And obviously, the star of NEW, Joestar, against the Heartstopper, Gabe Sayers. A rematch of what we saw at Halloween. And Joestar was victorious then, but time will tell what will happen when these two square off Christmas Eve. Boy, I cannot wait for this one here. This is going to be a doozy. NEW's Instagram, YouTube channels are where you can find out more information. But I want to ask you about something else because there's something else that's coming up, and that is the TF Crew's Unhinged Rumble. I know many of our NEW friends are going to be there, and I wanted to ask you, Joe, about that because you have been a part of the TF Crew, and obviously shout out to Jake because Jake's going to be in action against another man that's been NEW, who, by the way, they might have to change the photo because I heard through the grapevine Jeff Nova got a haircut. I mean, boy, Jeff Nova got a haircut. What's with people getting haircuts? But have no fear, I'm getting no haircut. There's too many people who know me that I wouldn't be getting a haircut, but I'm definitely not getting one. My own mother actually said on Sportswire, you're not getting one, so that tells you what the people want. But Jake's in action here against, there it is, as always, Mr. Gabe Sayers and Mikey Anarchy.
Yeah,
Grim of GTX. I mean, Grim, who, by the way, doesn't do many outside shows. Graham does not do anymore. Very few independent shows. Graham, I mean, he doesn't need to, so he's here. Jamie Tyler's a man that's been around quite a bit. Another banger of a match. That's the opener. And
last time that I ever met Jamie Taylor's, I just left a mark on his chest.
Well, maybe it's there still. But it's only $10 a ticket. It's going to take place. I am, by the way, donating a ticket to this. And Doc Holliday, who we certainly know very, very well and who's certainly been extremely impressive. Just remember what he did at the All Wrestling, the Riot in the Ring is what he did, the All Riot in the Ring. And he was extremely impressive in that. And he's against Hardcore, a man who I feel like I am owed an appearance to. And Will Carroll of Total Effing Chaos. I definitely know that those two men. And those two men have a long history, by the way. They have they have a 20-plus year history. Going way back to WCW. These guys know each other a long time. That's a match that's a generational match. This is a match that you would almost never think that you would have got again. You're getting that. And then speaking of things, and this is where I'm going to make my announcement again, in your chair next Saturday night, Rad Dad Radley Belmont, the GBYWN and the GTS Legacy YouTube champion, is here live to talk about this match. Angel Santiago, the Puerto Rican Prince, who I think pound for pound has been one of the most impressive champions in recent memory. Look at who he's went through. I mean, he's done it in different states and everywhere. I mean, this guy, I mean, he looks like $1 million. He might be worth more than me. Well, he looks like he might be worth more than me. I don't know if he is worth more than me, but Rad Dad is here to talk about this match. You know, Joe, I was wondering, you're the star of NEW, the star of the show. Any thoughts on this and any potential, because you are a part of TF Crew, if you're going to be there coming up 2 weeks from today?
A lot of people have been asking me, and a lot of people have been begging me to go to this event, that they want to see me be a part of this event. And I got a confirmation for you, Tom.
You do?
Yes, I do.
All right, Joe. That's why I knew, Joe. It's always good to have you.
I am not
What?
gonna be
Joe,
able to
you're
go to TF
nuts.
Crew Rumble.
Joe, is this am I waking up to a Christmas nightmare? Am I on the naughty list? Joe,
No, you're not on the
read that
naughty list.
again.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Tom, but I am not going to be a part of the Rumble.
Ah, boo,
It
boo,
breaks my heart,
Joe.
honestly, that
I'm
I couldn't
disappointed,
go.
Joe. I really tell you what, I'm really disappointed because I really think you would be a huge, huge factor in that show 2 weeks from now. And there's so
Um,
many of your peers that are going to be there. And
once in a lifetime that you would never really get to see big matches
yeah, a
and
Grim. How about
pretty
Grim?
grim.
Grim.
Honestly, when I was 15 years old in 2015, I was like always watching his videos and I always dreamed about becoming a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
And since when I saw like this YouTube that's pretty much GTS
Yep.
going higher and higher, I was like, one of these
They're the
days I
seventh
really
biggest
wanted to be
wrestling
there.
company in the world. They're the seventh biggest. They're actually bigger than companies like New Japan and companies like MLW. They have that many followers, that many fans. It's crazy.
And the funny thing is, a lot of people that were from AEW or
Yep.
WWE came from there a little bit.
Hey, how about that guy MJF? I was watching him tonight at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Get here on GTS. Not bad, right? I
Pretty
heard about
much,
some guy, Zack Ryder. Didn't he appear on GTS once upon a time? I heard. I mean, it's a
Robbie
long list of
Robbie
people.
Stone,
Robbie
aka Robbie
Stone.
E. I
Yeah.
remember him. Bull Dempsey. Honestly, it's really hard to say that I'm not gonna be able to go there. Really hurts me because I was really looking forward to being there.
Yeah, and that's you got Rad Dad, who's a GBYWN legend, who wrestled the Rock and Roll Express. He wrestled the Rock and Roll Express. He's gonna be there. I mean, this is like
This is a
TF
once in
Cruz.
opportunity chance to just like go out there and just like show what I could do. But what like I had in mind in reality over here, I was like trying to like put this one up that I could see like, yes, let me be there, let me go there, like, but sucks for me and bad news for me, like I not be able to
Well, I
go
mean,
there.
look, you know what? Look, here's the bright side. Not to quote Mr. Brightside, but the bright side is that you've got the NEW Northeast Championship. There will be another
One.
day. There will be more TF Crew shows. I'm sure you'll be back.
Oh,
You're gonna
definitely.
you're gonna be in action coming up Tuesday against Gabe Sayers. You're
Of
gonna be in
course.
action coming up on January 11th. And
Yep.
I think that the best is yet to come for Joestar because I think Joestar, you have now arrived. You have officially now arrived. And I think you've gone from now up and comer to a guy that's here. You're here in the now. You're no longer the hunter. You're the hunted. You're one of the top champions for a company that's one of the premier places around. And I think that we haven't even seen yet. So I think really to me, is it disappointing that you're not going to be there, TF Crew? Yes. But in the long run, there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot to be thankful. NEW has just gone up and it's become bigger and bigger. You've become, in a short amount of time, one of those guys that people I think are going to continue to pay close attention to. So I think that the best is yet to come. And I'm sure that Jake will be happy when you send a message to Gabe on Tuesday because Jake will definitely be rooting for you on Tuesday. I am sure on January 11th, you will continue your reign as Northeast champion. And when you come back on Sportswire, sometime late next month, that we'll have some things to talk about. And I'm sure that you'll be back in TF Crew one of these days in 2025.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like the year of Joestar is gonna be starting from now, since like now that I have the NEW Northeast champion.
Yep.
I technically won it in 2024, but starting the year off as champion, maybe
That's a
ending
good
the
point
year
that
as
you made. That's a
champion.
good point.
That's gonna be
That's a
what
good
what I'm
point.
going to go for.
That's a great point because I kind of think that 2025 has started already. It's a point I've been making the last few weeks. And I do want to say hello to my very good friend. I think he's still my friend because he's up at 3:54 a.m. The vigilante. And no, he's not hunting the Brevs. No, he's not hunting Strange and CCW. He's here with us. And yeah, good evening and good morning to you. And if I don't see you
Good
on
evening.
Sportswire, Mr. Vigilante, I hope you have a Merry Christmas, and I can't wait to have you back here on Sportswire Radio before January 31st, a Fighter Strike 4 against Strange for that Carnage Hardcore Championship. So I am definitely excited about that, and I hope to see you more often, and I think I will. And if you're here, hit the sub button for our friends in NEW. They're close to 2,200 subs, and CCW's got a page. Hit a sub for them. They're close to 600, and see, Jake agrees with me. There you go. See, I think that is either that. I gotta ask you. I got a couple more questions. I'm gonna ask you some fun questions. I'm gonna get you off the hook here now. So no more tough, hard hitting questions. But so, what's Joestar doing for Christmas? I know you're in the ring Christmas Eve, but what are you doing here for Christmas? What's the plan for Christmas?
Pretty much Christmas just gonna be like celebrating with my family, of course. I'm gonna be cooking
Oh
that
yeah, what
day.
does Joe Star cook? Are you the star of the show? Are you the star of the kitchen also? Tell me what exactly are you cooking on Christmas?
So pretty much the star of the cook is pretty much my mother, but I be I'll be just like on the side, just like doing the same, looking at the family recipe, just
Hmm.
like having some good pork shoulder, like how of course, my dad always used to make.
Hmm.
My grandmother's rice with green pigeon peas.
Okay.
That's always like a good Puerto Rican dishes over there every single time. Just
Nice.
like pork shoulder with rice, and sometimes we do bring coquito, which is like our special eggnog, but it's not
Oh
really
wow.
eggnog. It's just mixed with coconut instead. We do like this meat cake, just
Oh
like
wow.
that's made of just like pure meat with just like a little bit of vegetable and probably talking about coquito. Here's some a little bit.
Tarzan
Um,
Duran smoked weed on Sportswire. The Prodigies did. You bring drinks. Joe,
I just only going for one since that's
that's
good
okay,
for
Joe. We're going to be
Christmas.
off in 10 or 15 minutes anyway. But, Joe, you are definitely the star of the show, and I think you are the star of the kitchen. And I'll actually make you smile. My mother, she used to cook, was it plantanos? It was plantanos. It was
Yeah.
because I'm from Brooklyn, so I knew naturally a lot of Puerto Ricans. In Bay Ridge, I went to. I don't really eat Spanish food. My mother, she did eat it. She liked Spanish food. She would cook it. My brother did too when he was here living in America, and they would cook that stuff. I remember Goya. We would use the Goya seasoning, so that was the thing. So we used to.
Goya, debe
Yep,
ser
Goya,
bueno.
yep, Goya seasoning. My mother, who's not watching this right now, would probably chuckle, but she's not watching, and I've emphasized that. So that's good. So Christmas, you'll get what you want. You'll have some food. I'll be on Sportswire Radio, and if I'm not sick, I'll go to the movies. I do want to see Sonic, but if I'm still sick, probably not. So we'll have to see. Time will tell. But anything you want to say to anybody out there that supported you throughout this year? Anything you want to say to anybody coming up before I get to one or two more questions?
Honestly, what I have to say to everybody that's been supporting me from the beginning and support me from down here now that I'm up here is thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you for always supporting me. Thank you for pretty much giving your attention on what I've been doing. Thank you for everything that I get to show you of like at least entertainment of like what I give to everybody else and like bringing a smile to everybody's faces.
You do. You definitely did. And the vigilante did enjoy the Christmas food chat. He did from all the way from Scotland. He enjoyed it. So, yeah, I definitely makes me hungry because on Christmas if I'm at the movies I'll have popcorn, but if I'm not I'll be on Sportswire. But yes, thank you to Vigilante, and I will see you before the 31st of January because he's got a really big match coming up there. You have any
Yeah.
final words for Gabe Sayers coming up on Tuesday?
Well, Gabe, all I can say is hopefully you're prepared for yourself. This time I'm gonna be better than ever. And during this Christmas, nothing's gonna be easy. I know this is gonna be the season of giving, but honestly, I just got gifted a championship victory over Savage. So honestly, I can't let that pass over to you. Sorry, that was for me. I need to continue where I start off. you're a good guy. I love you and everything else, but I have to do what I need to do. It's just business.
Just business.
And you know, anything else, probably I'll just say have to wait and see. That I love to keep my stuff a secret, but for
Play it
you,
close
Tom,
to the
I'll be
vest.
telling you everything.
Oh, I
Even
appreciate
though
it. By the
last
way, I
time,
want to tell you this much. Gabe told me that TF crew members will be coming back to New York. He told me his last words. He's like, don't worry. We'll have TF crew members come back to New York City this time with me. So I don't know if you were in that list or not, but that's what his words
possibly.
were. It's what he said. He told me that we'll meet again and TF crew members will be with him next time. So I don't know if I'm getting a beat down, but that's what Gabe.
No,
Joe,
if I'll be part of it, I'll make sure that nobody beats you
no,
down,
it's.
Tom.
I think Gabe was Joe. Actually, Joe, Gabe was actually very nice. Actually, we love Gabe, and hopefully we'll get a picture. Hopefully we'll get a picture because I think that
Oh,
I would look
definitely.
better in a photo with you, Joe, rather than Gabe.
Hey, probably I'll just give you these Joestar glasses for sure.
Like the Bret Hart commercial. Hey, Daddy, get the
you know,
All right. Well, we'll have to see. Definitely, we'll do that. I'll ask you one more question, which I should have asked you at the beginning of the show. How does it now feel to be a Hall of Famer in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame alongside Mr. Vigilante? How's it feel now to be in the Hall of Fame before we sign off?
it feels great, honestly.
Yeah.
Like me coming, like this is my third time being in Sportswire Radio, and me already
Technically
being a Hall of
four.
Fame.
Technically four. Technically
Technically four,
four.
yes, actually, but me being a Hall of Famer already in this channel feels so great, just like how I did with my Northeast title. Actually, like same feeling. Everything's going my way. I'm actually looking at this good of a year already, ending this year, and they're going to start off next year with a big bang. Well, not really a big bang, but more of a shining star bright on the right. But honestly, it feels so good to have that under my belt, under that championship
Pretty
title
belt.
as well.
What a pretty title it is. A very pretty belt. This is a pretty belt. I got
Reminds
to tell
me,
you.
reminds me of something that they did on Saturday Night's main event, probably. But
Yeah, kinda. It's a good point. It's a good point. Well, there he is. That's Joestar. He is the brand new NEW Northeast champion, and he gave us some words that we just saw post match at Northeast Extravaganza 6. We're going to see him coming up this Tuesday at a Merry Christmas special from NEW. He'll be wrestling against Gabe Sayers, the Heartstopper. You'll also see him in the ring coming up January 11th at Insanity Calamity against Leonidas, the #1 contender for the Northeast Championship. And Joestar is definitely one of my favorites. He's already in the Hall of Fame. He very well might be the star right now of underground wrestling. He has really come a long way these last few months. He is one of these guys. Every time I hear his name, it's like Sean Jovi, Darkron. I just smile, and that's to me who I think of Joestar. So Joe, never change. Joe, never turn heel. Never be a bad guy. I keep telling you, I actually might have to shed some tears. It's like guys like you, Darkron, Sean Jovi, just don't do it. D'Angelo the Flame, just don't do it. We need you. The people love you. We love you, Joe. You are the Puerto Rican dream. I think I'm going with it. I think that Sane is onto something. I'm going to be calling you from now on the Puerto Rican dream.
hey,
Joe Star. That's it. You're the Puerto Rican dream. That's because I think, you know what? You are just like Dusty Rhodes. You're a blue collar, hardworking son of a plumber and son of a man upstairs, and your daddy who's watching down, and you got a lot ahead, I think, and you are definitely the Puerto Rican dream. And I can't wait to see what's ahead. Joe, I'm going to pass the baton to you for closing thoughts. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say as I leave your Instagram up as we close out here this show tonight on Sports Wire Radio?
well, first of thoughts, thank you for having me again, Tom. As always, I'm always love to be in this show. I always be hyped to just like have a conversation with you, Tom. That's the #1 thing that I like. So if you haven't subscribed to Sportswire Radio, please do it
I
now.
think plenty of people have. Let's give you a follow on
And
Instagram. You're a little behind on the
now,
followers.
for me, please subscribe to my Instagram, to my TikTok, anywhere else that you'll see me. It'll be right in there. I'll be posting everything about NEW, NWE, TF Crew. Everything else is going to be right there in that channel. Please support me. I know it's a little lacking, but at the same time, show some love to Joestar. Um, Anything else I'll be saying is if I don't see anybody or talk to anybody between the whole like week or two, I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, Happy Hanukkah. If
Yes.
you're like that side of the road, and hey, same as you, Tom, I'm gonna say Happy Three Kings Day because I know
Yeah.
for sure it's gonna be a little like space between the next time that you see me,
Yep.
but
Yep.
I'll give this everything else to you, and I'm gonna say I love everybody.
We
Merry
love you, bro.
Christmas, Happy Holidays, and hope everybody enjoys the next year.
I think the best is yet to come. People always say I'm too optimistic, but I do believe, I say it every year, I think the best is yet to come. I really believe that 25 is going to be a great year. People are going to have all their dreams come true. And I think
I already did
NEW,
mine.
well, and I think it's going to be more. I think NEW is a company that, I think it's going to do even bigger and better things. A lot of great shows are ahead. You guys have done a lot. I think that you guys as collectively as a unit are very cohesive. And I think that even more ahead will be fruitful. I think what you guys and who will be in TF crew will be very excited. I can't wait to talk with Rad Dad about that. And I even hear from a birdie that Gabe might be back on Sportswire. With Gabe, it's always might because Gabe's a maybe. Gabe is always a maybe because Gabe is Gabe. Like I said, just to spend
Yes.
7 minutes with him was like an arm and a leg. And I should have stayed in bed. I was on NyQuil and he messaged me, "Hey, you want to meet up finally?" But I was like, "All right, this is a once in a lifetime moment." I'm like, "Gabe, are you sure I'm not going to get you sick?" He's like, no, I don't care. I hope he's not sick right now. I hope Gabe's not sick. But at the
Oh,
end, you can just thank me on that. But yes, I do believe, though, that we have a lot of great things ahead. Rad Dad is here next weekend. I believe we are doing something for the TF Crew show before the 4th, but I'm sure I'll have more details during the week. Gabe should be here. I think I'm going to try. I think Jake will be a part of that show. Some of the guys from the TF Crew show will be here before the 4th, so that's coming up very soon. But in the meantime, do me a favor, go follow NEW, check them out, Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Joestar's channel. Everybody, thank you so much. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally where all wrestling matters. If you're on Sportswire Radio, speaking to people who want one more plug, Barry Gutman, the hardcore gamer, is here. Barry, happy holidays. I think you celebrate Hanukkah, so I'm going to put your YouTube channel up here one more time because Barry is a gamer and he's actually trying to get to 100 subs, and he's also trying to take over for me on Sportswire Radio. He's at 80 subs. Go follow Barry. If you're here, you haven't yet. By the way, Barry is looking to do interviews. So if you are a wrestler who's a gamer, if you do game, Barry apparently wants to talk to wrestlers about their gaming experience because Barry doesn't want to be a wrestler. I have asked him to become a wrestler, but he won't become a wrestler. But he does want to talk to wrestlers who game. So if you're a gamer, Barry does have 80 subscribers. He wants to talk to you. He's got a show Thursday nights somewhere around 9 or 10 o'clock. So if you like to talk with Barry, I can get in touch with you. Can I get a link right now? We're going to end the air. I'll give you 2 minutes, but I really don't feel well. But all right, you want to have a link with Omen Black? I mean, I don't know what your history. You have any history with him? Oh, it's a link to his channel. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can give you a link. I was like, boy, what did we do now, Omen? But yeah,
yeah.
I'll DM you, Omen. I'll DM you. But yeah, if you game, Barry's the hardcore gamer, and I'll connect. I'll tell Barry to message you in 2 minutes. But thank you, everybody. Let's take Justin Parsley's photo off the stage. It's Omen Black's show. Let's not go there. But I was like, Joe, did you say something to Omen Black? We want to be friends with Omen Black. We don't want to be.
I really never said anything, but
Not to. You don't want Barry's link. You want Joe's link? Okay. Let me give you Joe's link. Yeah. Let me give you Joe's link. Yeah, I'll give you Joe's link. Oh, yeah, I got Joe's link. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay.
But for anybody that's listening, you could follow me at not at Joestar _ PR _
I got it. I got Joe's link right there. I just gave it to you. Yeah, I was like, sorry for the confusions. But that's good. Actually, I think I do have your YouTube link. Let me put your YouTube link up here. You mind if I give the YouTube link a plug? Because I think I do have you on YouTube. Let me pull YouTube link up here. I think I have it. Joestar.
I don't have any video contents yet, but
Never mind then. Never mind. Take his Instagram page. Never mind. Never mind. All right, everybody. I'm going to go because I want to take a Sudafed. I really do want another Sudafed. I'm not going for an Irish
I gotta
stout.
go for another of
What
these.
would you like to say, Omen? Would you like to say something else, Omen? You want? I think he wants to say one more thing in the chat because I'm going to go in a minute. What would you like to say, Omen? We'll wait. I'll wait. But in the meantime, I'm here tomorrow with Ace Reed, 9 o'clock Eastern time. I'm here Tuesday night with Abraham Storm, Monday night with Dominic of YBW. I'm here with independent wrestler Day Jameson tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern time. And I'm here with Sean Jovi. And the House of Wolves are back. The House of Wolves and IMF are back. So no spoilers. No spoilers. I don't know what happened there at Winter Clash, but we'll find out very soon. But I got to run. Joe's got to run. We'll talk, I'm sure, more about that. We're not nameless anymore. And, well, the nameless ones may have been solved, but I'm sure we'll talk about that very soon. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Or on the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. And to all out there, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you and everybody else on the other side tomorrow.